What is up, Commotion crew? This is Dan in the Sports Den, here to talk to you guys about your Week 6 waiver wires, people that you can target, guys that you can look for to hopefully add to your team. Injuries have been wreaking havoc this year in the NFL, so you want to ensure that you're trying to put the best guys in your position to get yourself into the playoffs as much as possible, because right now that is the sole purpose, is just trying to make the playoffs. So make sure you are liking. Make sure you are subscribing. You want to hit the notification bell for us, please. That way you can stay on top of everything. We're going to be looking to put out a waiver wire every Tuesday. And then Saturdays, I'm going to be looking to do a sit, start, and stash. So somebody that you can kind of have on your bench just in case you need them. So with this week, there was a lot of more craziness that's happening. Nobody really kind of saw Chase Claypool emerging the way he did, so he's going to be your top target for wide receivers, obviously. One thing I will say, keep in mind with Chase Claypool, is that the Pittsburgh wide receiver core, it is pretty deep. So they still have Deontay Johnson there. They still have Washington there. Deontay Johnson is injured right now. So when he comes back, you're going to look at Chase Claypool is going to take a step back. I mean, Juju Smith-Schuster is still on that team too. So while Claypool, I think he's a stud. I think he's going to be an absolute monster in the NFL. You still kind of have the pecking order there. So my man put up 7 catches for 110 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 more touchdown rushing the ball. Don't expect that production every week, especially when Deontay Johnson comes back into the lineup. Then you'll be relegated to Claypool as your kind of number 3 wide receiver in that offense, I think. I think he's going to leapfrog Washington. But keep that in mind. And then Alexander Mattison, if Dalvin Cook, I am a Dalvin Cook owner, so this one hurts me big time. If Dalvin Cook is looking at any major time lost, Alexander Mattison is going to be the guy to go to for that Vikings offense. On 23 touches, he got 136 yards, which is huge. That Vikings offensive line is pretty good. They're gelling together, especially in the run blocking game. Dalvin Cook is a huge benefit to that. So Alexander Mattison will take over the lead back. He out-touched Michael Boone like 45 touches to 3 or some nonsense like that. It was just so one-sided. So I personally think that Dalvin Cook is going to sit next week, week 6. And then Minnesota has their bye week right after that. So I think you're going to see Dalvin Cook sit for those 2 weeks, have that groin injury it looked like he had, have that heal up, and then he'll probably be back in the lineup. But those 2 weeks or that one next week is going to be legit. You don't know what's going to happen with Dalvin Cook. So make sure you try and grab Alexander Mattison. Those are going to be everybody's top 2 targets, is Chase Claypool and Alexander Mattison. So I kind of want to give you guys some other options that may be lingering on the waiver wire a little bit further down there. First and foremost is Mike Williams, wide receiver for the Chargers. So this dude is a beast. He's an absolute monster, huge playmaker in the league. His problem was that he had a aging Phillip Rivers, which has a weak arm, playing quarterback for him. And then they went to Tyrod Taylor, who's another quarterback that's not known for his arm. And he is a downfield threat. He's also gets bit by the injury bug a little bit. So Mike Williams, if he can stay healthy, you saw what he did. We're looking at 109 yards, 2 touchdowns with Herbert throwing him the ball. So he's definitely somebody that is kind of flying under the radar. I think he could be a big contributor in this Chargers offense, especially with Keenan Allen going down with an injury. So look out for Mike Williams, wide receiver. He's somebody that you can target as well. Another player that I'm looking at is Chase Edmonds, running back from Arizona Cardinals. So he kind of split carries with Kenyon Drake, but you saw that he was much more effective in that role. And I think that Kenyon Drake is falling out of favor with Cliff Kingsbury in that Arizona offense. So you don't really know what's going on in that situation, and we're hoping that it's not going to be kind of a split carry 50-50 situation back there. But if Chase Edmonds can emerge as kind of the guy, I definitely think that he's going to get the looks, and it looks like it's trending that way. So he's worth grabbing, because if he ends up being the number 1 back in that offense, that's definitely something you want to have on your team. Another guy is Justin Jackson, the running back for the Chargers. So once Austin Eckler went out, I kind of feel like everybody thought Joshua Kelly was going to get the majority of the looks. And Josh Kelly was actually one of my preseason guys to look for because I really liked what he did. He, however, has not been very effective in the passing game, and he kind of has those 2 fumbles that everybody's looking at as well. So Justin Jackson had 20 touches to Kelly's 12. So he really out-touched him. It looks like he's going to get the bulk of the work. He looked like the better back. He was receiving out of the backfield as well. So Justin Jackson's a guy. Be aware, though, he's another one that gets bit by the injury bug quite often. He hasn't really been able to stay healthy in the league. If he can stay healthy with Austin Eckler out, he should absolutely be a target for everybody on their waiver wires. Now, these next 2 guys, they're a little bit of a stretch, but I think that they could end up being something if kind of everything all the cards fall into the right spot. So running back Bryan Hill out of Atlanta. So the reason why I like him is that he's shown to be very effective, in my opinion, a little bit more effective than Todd Gurley back there. Also, since we know that Todd Gurley kind of has an issue with staying healthy, if he goes down, Bryan Hill will be the number 1 waiver wire target. So I'm kind of looking into the future a little bit. I don't trust that Todd Gurley is going to stay healthy for an entire season. We've had a really kind of look into the looking glass with him, and that he just can't stay healthy. He's got those bad knees. He's got those arthritic knees. So Bryan Hill would be the next man up in that offense, and I think he would be an absolute stud on your team. I can tell you that in one of my leagues, I've already rostered Bryan Hill in the anticipation that if Todd Gurley goes down, I have his handcuff. I'm set and ready to go. So he's kind of a little bit of a stretch for running back. He's not going to help you right now, but week 8, week 9, week 10, once Todd Gurley starts breaking down a little bit, maybe Bryan Hill starts getting a little more carries. Todd Gurley gets injured. Again, knock on wood, we're not looking for anybody to get injured, but if it happens, it's a reality of the game. You're covered. You have the handcuff, and you have potentially a guy who could be maybe an RB2 when all said and done. The last guy that I'm going to talk about, again, is another guy that I've rostered on my fantasy teams, is T. Higgins, wide receiver from Cincinnati Bengals. So I don't know if T. Higgins is necessarily going to explode the way Chase Claypool has, some of these other guys have, but he's definitely getting consistent looks from Joe Burrow. And Joe Burrow right now, I believe, is throwing the ball more than almost any other quarterback in the league. So Joe Burrow's throwing the ball. He's looking at T. Higgins' way. T. Higgins has absolutely shown that he is Joe Burrow's number 1 target and his favorite target. In the past 3 games, we're talking 24 targets, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns. So T. Higgins definitely has the production on his side. He's a guy that I think could help your team as he emerges a little bit more. With A.J. Green clearly not being the A.J. Green of old and also suffering from injuries as well, T. Higgins, I believe, is the number 1 wide receiver in that offense, and he's definitely something to look at just because of the opportunities that are presented from Joe Burrow throwing the ball so much. Now, there's a couple guys that went off a little bit that I didn't mention. I'm going to focus on Travis Fulgham, wide receiver for the Eagles. The reason why I'm not really attacking him that much in my waiver wire is because you're going to get some guys piecemealing back that are healthy in that offense. Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, even Jalen Reagor, the number 1 their first round pick wide receiver. He's going to be coming back healthy. And I think you're going to see Fulgham fall in that depth chart as these guys come back into play. If you need a wide receiver to start for next week, he's a guy to target. He'll probably still get targets. Clearly, Carson Wentz trusts him, but he's on the radar now. So just be aware of that. I think he's going to fall back down the pecking order. So I'm not going to waste a waiver wire position on him. I'd rather get T. Higgins. I'd rather wait for waivers to go through, get T. Higgins if he's still available, throw my hat into the ring for Chase Claypool. Again, be aware that as injuries, as guys come back, namely Deontay Johnson, you could see a little bit fall off from him. Mike Williams is another guy that I'll kind of let the waivers pass. If he's still there, I'm grabbing him and picking him up. So that's my advice for week 6 waiver wire, guys. Hit me up with any questions in the comments. Again, like, subscribe, notification bell. We're here for you. Let us know if we can do anything to help you out. And I will see you guys on Saturday with my sit, start, stash. And then the following Tuesday, I will do another waiver wire. Everybody have a good night.